Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 266 for February 28th, 2018. My name is Russell Frost. I have the pleasure and good fortune to be your host for this evening's journey through automotive amazingness or something like that. Isn't it great how you lose your vocabulary like halfway through?
And then you just make it up.
That's why I get the fancy microphone. Luckily for all of you and for me, this journey is not one that I have to make alone. I have two good friends to at least make fun of me when I say something stupid. Let's introduce them and get this show on the road. The gentleman in gray, he has two Teslas in his driveway, one on order, and who knows, maybe something else coming up soon. I like to call him Dr. Evan Fusco.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here tonight. Thanks for joining us. Should be a fun show.
I think it'll be fun. We'll argue about something.
Of course.
And the gentleman next to him, hiding his Tesla Red with a subtle black kind of stoic hoodie. I know I'm reaching. Help me out here, Mark. For God's sakes, Mr. Mark Coughlin.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Is this like the first ever What Drives Us that opens with me flipping off one of the panelists?
Welcome, everybody, to the show. We're looking forward to it. We're off to a good start anyways.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a good one. This is why I should script everything. But
Yes.
But I don't. I want to thank my friend Shauna for the fancy Corvette and say hello to her while she is watching today to start the show off. And usually at the beginning, there's something that our friend Patrick Connor calls Russell's rant. I'm not going to get all ranty tonight. I have an eject button, okay? I can.
He's not afraid to use it either.
I'm not afraid to throw you out of the DB5 moving at full speed, sir.
I did not realize this had turned into a comedy show.
Exactly. Oh, dude, come on. 266 episodes, you're just cluing into the comedy element of this show? Sir. And let's talk about something fun. Germany has decided, a German court has actually ruled that some cities can block polluting vehicles from some areas. Now, there's a lot of euphemisms in there. The main thing that we're talking about here, though, is diesel. Especially that big lie that is clean diesel, because ain't no such thing, folks. No such thing as clean diesel. So, yeah, Germany's going to say you can ban diesel vehicles. Oddly enough, Rome as well moved to ban all diesel vehicles by 2024. That's two big steps. The thing you might forget being an American is that diesel automobiles in Europe are huge.
Yeah.
This is a very big percent of the vehicles. Not like here where, one idiot that bought a diesel vehicle in 85 and couldn't get rid of it. There's a lot of diesel cars. So these are monumental steps.
Yeah, Europe was sold on the fact that diesel was cleaner, and a lot of Europeans switched to diesel based on that false information.
The lie.
Yeah.
It's nothing but a lie. I mean, the particulate pollution that diesel cars spit out is awful. Even if there are, and NOx is awful. Yeah. Sorry. Evan, you've been over there. I mean,
Yeah, that's the 6-year timeline is extremely aggressive. I mean, because you're right, diesel vehicles dominate, particularly in transportation vehicles and other commercial vehicles and even personal vehicles tend to be diesel. That's very aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Way to go, Germany in a row. I hope lots of other things follow. The quicker we start getting rid of diesel vehicles, the better off we'll be. And the more encouragement we create to create viable replacements for them. The next story should have been mine, but Mark Coughlin cruelly stole it. How's that for an introduction?
But we're not having a rant tonight.
But we're not.
We're out of rants at this point. Yes, yes,
So
indeed.
please.
As you can tell.
Mark Coughlin, take it away, sir.
Yeah, I can't beat that introduction. So, but I will attempt next week. Trust me. Now that the gauntlet has been thrown down. Yes. So wait till you see what stories you get next week.
Yeah,
Russell.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, recently it was announced that on an internet introduction was that the Hyundai Kona was introduced as a new EV that's going to be hitting the road shortly. The Kona is a CUV type vehicle, and I guess we could probably share the screen here so people can get an idea as to what it looks like.
I was just gonna say, would you like me to help you and put that up? But no.
No, I don't want any help from you. Trust me.
You don't.
So the Kona is a CUV type vehicle. A little higher off the ground, little SUV looking, although it's not huge in size. But what's interesting is that the Kona all electric vehicle is going to put out about 133 horsepower at 99 kilowatts, and it's got about 291 pound-feet of torque. And it's going to come in two different battery packs, a 39.2 and a 64 kilowatt battery. Now, I do understand that in North America, it's only going to be the larger battery pack is the option. That's only going to be available. It's not going to have the smaller one. But I would assume in Europe, it will have the smaller option. So the 64 kilowatt battery will give you an estimated range of 292 miles or 470 kilometers. And that is based on the WLTP scale, which is a little bit better than the Japanese scale that seems to be widely off. But I guess the real test is when it gets to North America, the EPA will do their test and we'll find out if it's going to match those numbers. But there is hope that 470 kilometers or 292 miles is fairly accurate with the WLTP scale. So good to see another vehicle, all electric, coming to the market. Hyundai looks, serious with this. It'll be interesting to see as the Kona starts to roll out what the uptake is from people. But in this, in North America, certainly, which is SUV crazy, I'm wondering if this car is going to be able to pick up that slack, or if it's just maybe a bit small based on its size and interior package. But looking forward to be able to test drive one of these shortly.
So, looking at this, the usual questions come up. What about charging? And it sounds like maybe it's only got a 10 kilowatt onboard charger, because it's talking about taking almost 10 hours to charge the 64 kilowatt pack. So you're getting, right, it's 6 kilowatts. Wow. Yeah, right at 6 kilowatts for the onboard charger. So that's pretty puny. And then they talk briefly, one sentence mentions a 100 kilowatt DC fast charger, but they don't really elaborate whether that's going to be, they're going to build an entire network, or if you're just going to have to go to a Hyundai store, or where those are going to be. So, the charging network's always a big question. And then those performance numbers are pretty miserable. Now.
This isn't $100,000 Model X. It's a $40,000 Hyundai.
Well, the price is not quite there, but yeah, we don't know exactly what it is, but you're probably right.
I don't say that in a bad way. I think for 40 grand base price for 292 miles of range, roughly, this could be a very aggressive offering.
And our friend in the chat room, Eric Stevens, who is an engineer, has indicated that it's a 7.2 kilowatt onboard charger.
Okay.
So
Thanks,
that's
Eric.
the slower 9 hour and 40-minute charging time.
Yeah.
With a 64 kilowatt battery.
So pardon my ignorance here then. So, but how going to a commercial, just whatever, whether it's a charge point or whoever, EVgo, the higher speed, this won't be able to utilize that?
Nope.
I don't understand that. How are they saying that you can get 80% charge with a 100 kilowatt charger?
Well, now, so
in 54 minutes.
Yeah, 54 minutes. It's a DC charger.
Right.
It's a DC fast charger that will fill up 80% in 54 minutes. So it will have a fast charge option.
Okay.
But it doesn't say if that's going to be a CHAdeMO or exactly what that is.
CCS, yeah. It doesn't say
CCS.
whether. Well, Hyundai. I'm not sure if they're using, if they have anything else that is using
the Ioniq.
Does it use CCS?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So most likely this will be a CCS then.
All right. So there will be options out there. That's good.
There will be. And now there won't be a free network to charge. And how Hyundai will deal with that is a good question. But honestly, I mean, 40 grand for a super popular form factor. There's going to be a rebate on this bad boy, right? So we're talking maybe in the mid to low 30s, possibly.
Yep.
That's an attractive car.
Yeah, that should be a good uptake. Yeah.
All right.
Evan's like, no. I mean,
I hope it is. I want to see the real world numbers when it comes out.
Sure, absolutely. But one thing that I didn't notice in this article, I don't know who to credit it to, whether we credit this to Inside EVs or to Hyundai, but no one said the T word anywhere in the story. There was no Tesla killer. You know what I mean? Because when Ioniq was all big, Hyundai was all about Prius killer. That was their reason to live. And it's nice to see them maybe taking a little more
take their own path.
Sensible path. Yeah. I don't know what this gesture means, but it means
it's coming at you. It's coming at you.
There we go. Coming at you, kids. The next story is it's sad. And I don't normally go to Jalopnik. I'm not a Jalopnik fan.
No, that's my story.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is
kidding.
Story? Oh, bastard. Where's the eject button? This is Coughlin's last What Drives Us 266. Click. I don't normally go to Jalopnik, but it was a very good read. As sad a tragic death story can be. Interesting about a crash in a Model S in China that actually happened before the fatal crash here. I want to say, was that in Florida? When the guy ran into the truck?
The semi?
The semi and died. And there's, of course, has resulted in a lawsuit, and there's lots of questioning going back and forth, and it's hard to sort out what it is. Reading from one story, especially on, of all places, Jalopnik, but it does appear as though there may be that if this story had gotten a little more attention, and if maybe Tesla had taken it seriously, there may have been some changes made that might have prevented the fatality that happened here in the US. Now, that's impossible to prove. We don't know that Tesla would have reacted in that way. But it does, at the very least, what seems to be clear from the story is that the Tesla salespeople in China promised a whole bunch of stuff that in the end were significant reason this person died. And that's the whole silly. I want to show a picture here, in fact, that I saw today on another story on another page. I don't remember what it was. And frankly, I don't feel like promoting it. But this is from a review of the Model 3. And this is part of the problem with selling a vehicle with something called autopilot. Now,
yes.
this is when you tell people that you're going to be able to press a button and your car is going to drive across the continental United States all by itself to you. When you tell people that they have something called autopilot hardware in their vehicle, this is the kind of stuff they're going to do. This isn't Tesla's fault, but Tesla has absolutely created the situation where idiots like this can do stupid shit like that. I did get ranty. I'm sorry.
All right.
So Evan's really biting his tongue. I can just tell.
So Cadillac's putting similar commercials. Actually,
Super Cruise, yes.
Right. And notice there are no hands on the steering wheel shown anywhere in that commercial.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
they're going to be just as guilty. In fact, they directly call out as a challenge to Tesla that theirs is better.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they're very clear. At least the touchscreen display is when you accept that you're using autopilot. And anybody that's paid attention online, if you watch the video in this story, this Jalopnik story, it was at least 9 seconds, probably a little longer, that the sweeping vehicle was easily visible with the flashing light in front of this car. This driver was not looking at the road.
Yes.
That is not the car's fault. And there's no way to blame the car for that. It's never have they claimed that you didn't have to look at the road ever. And there's easily could have changed lanes, easily could have stopped. This was the driver's fault. And I don't think there's any way around that. Would you blame cruise control? It makes no sense. I'm flabbergasted by these stories, frankly. I've been driving with autopilot for 2 years and never had anything close to this. You pay attention, and that's what you do. And if you don't, you have a chance you're going to die.
Orange, you glad you're paying attention?
Oh, the orange makes a comeback. Evan, I agree with everything you said, but I think you left out part of it. And I think, again, Tesla has created the situation where some people are going to be irresponsible. And yes, it's their fault, but that's not, and Tesla isn't responsible for everything a person can do with their products. Well, wait, maybe, isn't that the way things kind of work a little bit?
So are you arguing for the same nanny crap that you have to hit the thing in the Prius every time you get it, and you can't use the navigation at all while the car's in motion?
Not at all.
Well, where's the happy medium then?
The happy medium is you slap the shit out of your CEO the first time he says, I'm going to touch a button and my car is going to come to me from New York all the way across the US by itself. Autopilot hardware is in these cars. These cars are autopilot capable. I appreciate that when they get the car, there's a little warning on there that looks like every other end user agreement that you have to click through and go, oh, I'm supposed to have my hands on the wheel and pay attention the whole time. What the fuck ever. Click. I get that. My issue with Tesla on this is that I think they've been grossly irresponsible in representing what their product does. I think they've engineered a good product. It's incomplete, but it's
but Russell,
it's
regardless of what they say, people that get the car are going to stretch the boundaries.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're going to get people with the orange, and you're going to get people that put their hands and they're in the back seat. All that stuff is still going to happen.
Yes. I don't have the answer to that. I'm just saying that I think I've said this for how many years on this show that I think Tesla at times is irresponsible in the way they represent their products. That's all. I don't think they're bad, and I don't think the government should step in and prevent all of that stuff from happening. I don't think people should have nannies in the cars or robots or anything else. I just, damn it, I wish they were a little less, woohoo, it's autopilot. Because it's not autopilot in any way that most people understand that word.
Well,
come on.
That's people misunderstanding that word, and that's not Tesla's fault, because it is in almost every sense it is autopilot. If you use the definition of autopilot the way it works in an airplane, it works almost exactly the same way.
It does, except in airplanes don't run into the back of sweeping trucks at 70 miles an hour.
No, but they would run into other airplanes, or they would run into buildings if the pilot wasn't paying attention and those things got in the way.
And pilots are way more qualified to do what they do than most people who buy cars. Way more qualified.
But the point is they have to pay attention.
Yes, I totally agree.
And so do you when you are using autopilot in a Tesla.
I totally agree, but then it's not it's sort of autopilot. I don't know. Hey, maybe we'll just disagree on this. I think it's in the other sense, how many people have died because of autopilot? Anybody? I know of
at least two.
3.
I know of 2, 3. So it's not like, listen, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of it. It's not like autopilot is killing a dozen people a week. Okay. It's not like there are hundreds of bodies strewn all over the place. A relatively tiny number, thankfully, have done some really irresponsible shit in every case that we've seen so far. And they paid the ultimate price for it. I'm glad. If anything, that goes to justify Tesla's case, that so few people have been hurt or killed misusing this product. How's that for some sensibility, Evan? Come on.
Okay.
Oh man, I even come over to your side and you won't even like hook me up. Come on.
Nah, you can build as good a mousetrap as you want, and people are going to find a way to fuck it up.
Absolutely. It's the human nature.
Yeah.
So is it your job? What, and again, this is not an argument that we can have on this show because we don't have days, but then what is the manufacturer's responsibility in selling mousetraps? Because that's the discussion. Where does their responsibility end and the consumers begin?
Well,
in typical product, it becomes a warning, a sign off, and that's the manufacturer's responsibility.
Yeah, but the way it's worked in the car industry is it's gone over into this dramatic nanny type mode where you're so restricted in what you can do and the functionality, and every single time you get in, you have to agree that you aren't driving the car, even though you're driving the car anyway, because they're all misrepresenting it. The high liability concerns. I mean, let's face it, they're not doing it to keep you safe. They're doing it to avoid liability.
Avoid getting sued. Yeah,
absolutely they are. No question about it. There's no nanny thing though. There's no law. There's nobody forcing them to do this. Auto companies put those warnings on there, those annoying agree to this now screens, because they stand a better chance of winning in a court case. No?
Yeah,
bingo
for sure.
Evan's not even looking at me, man.
That's true. No, we're totally agree. I just don't want that pendulum to swing, and
I agree.
Reduce the functionality.
I agree
because of a few idiots that can't keep their head out of their laps or wherever it is,
or a few CEOs that promise more than they can deliver.
I don't think
can't deliver it.
I don't think that's where the response. Well, yeah, that's another issue, but I don't think that's where the responsibility for people not paying attention to the road lies.
No, he's not responsible for that. Yes, you're absolutely right, but he is responsible for promising things that he can't deliver. And the problem is that it hurts the other companies that are developing products similar that may or may not work better. You know what I mean? It's not fair to them.
Yeah.
So whatever, or fair to the stupid people who have $70,000, $80,000 to buy a Model S, and they buy it and they run it in the back of a sweeper at 100 miles an hour. Oh, well.
Can't argue that.
Darwin took care of that. Did I say that? Yes, I did. I went there. Well, let's talk about liability. Let's talk about companies that do things that don't quite do what they're supposed to. Cast your mind back to 2014. Toyota had a voluntary recall notice filed with NHTSA in 2014 to fix a defect in roughly 800,000 third-generation Priuses. This was a software change. And what it basically did, the software, the goal of the change was to eliminate overheating in the Prius inverter. So what they did was, and what has just recently come out as far as figuring out how Toyota dealt with this problem, was they made the car a little less efficient. You don't use the electrical part of it quite as much. And arguably, I mean, that's fixed the problem. Now, there's a lawsuit, oddly enough, two San Diego Toyota dealers, which kind of shocks me, but not, are suing Toyota because they claim that this suit hurts the mileage of those vehicles. It lowered the mileage by as much as 5 mpg. And they said that this fix was inadequate, it wasn't appropriate, and subsequent research and discovery in this case has apparently brought out the fact that, yes, Toyota did in fact take measures to lower the efficiency of the hybrid system to keep the inverter cool and cut the efficiency of the vehicle.
So that required them to not replace parts, just dial it back, and the unit didn't get as much heat.
Yes.
Can't say I'm surprised.
I mean, it's an elegant solution from a manufacturing standpoint. You reflash some chips, and that's it. No parts cost, no shipping things. You know, it's a pain in the butt, and you've got to do this to 800,000 cars. That takes time and costs a buttload of money. But there it is.
That's, you know, so what's interesting is that if you did this in a GMC Yukon and it lost 10% fuel economy, you'd barely notice it, right? Because it was already shitty. But here you've got a hand-picked group of people who live and die by the 10th of an MPG that they're saving, you know, when they hypermile. And, you know, they're every one of them going to notice this 5 mile per gallon drop. I mean,
and now that it's known, can you imagine how many people are dodging to go into the dealership to get their chip reflashed?
Yep.
Well, I think the interesting thing here is the timing. I mean, Evan and I know Prius owners. Not that, Mark, you may not, but I mean, we know Prius owners wholesale. And they are, by and large, a very, shall we say, attentive group. So what I'm shocked by is that I haven't heard any of this until today, until this week. And this has been going on for 4 years. Toyota, for the record, Toyota has said that the lawsuit has no merit and that the allegations are inaccurate and misleading. We'll see what happens when the court starts going through it. I mean, it seems like there isn't a lot of discussion about the facts of the case. The question is just whether or not Toyota did something bad in reducing the fuel economy as a fix. I don't know. If Chevy did that to your Volt,
I'd be upset.
Would you?
Yep. Because I look for my EV range to be a certain amount. I want it to be a certain amount. In fact, I want it to be more. So if it dropped by 10%, yeah, I'd be upset. Because I got sold something that promised me one thing, and now after a fix, it doesn't do that anymore.
Right. After a fix. Isn't it funny how we screw with language. It's a fix.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a fix. I mean, so here's the other side, right? I mean, Toyota, and I'm not defending them. I'm just, our friend Tony Schaefer has a Prius Prime. Prius Prime has 25 rated 25 miles of EV range. Tony regularly manages to yank 30 in their low 30s out of it because he's a freak and he's got that hypermodern foot. Love him to death.
And he's not on the show.
And he's not on the show. He's in the chat room right now. Going, listen, just call me a freak. So, you know, that's the so in that case, here's Toyota producing a product conservatively rated that exceeds what the consumer had any right to expect. If Toyota says it has 25 miles of EV range, that's what it should get. Anything more is like gravy, right? And I'm not saying one fixes the other. This is the fascinating part for me here is Toyota within their rights to do what they did? I don't know.
You know, I would think federal law would say no. I mean, if they're selling a vehicle that has that rating and then it no longer does just because they had to do a recall on it, I would think they would be in hot water. Right? Because if it only gets 45 miles per gallon and EPA rating's 50, and they're still marketing it as 50.
Yeah.
Well, it is an older car, right? It's not really sold as a new car anymore.
This is the third gen. Yeah. This is a no.
So they're not marketing anymore. This is just present owners are stuck with it.
Yeah. And since 2016, the fourth gen has been in place. And Evan, there's a snake in your office. I don't want to see it die right in front of me here. I couldn't take that tonight. I don't know.
So I could just see these army of Prius nerds marching in with their graphs of their fuel economy before and after the recall going to court. I don't know if Toyota wants to deal with that.
Evan, how did we not heard of this?
I don't know. Of course, I don't hang on the Prius forums anymore.
We're talking 2014.
Yeah.
2014 to 2016. How have we not heard word one of this issue? This should have been huge.
Yeah, I would think so.
That's what is freaking me out about this. Like how they changed 800,000 Priuses. How we're not like 5,000 angry engineer nerds pissed off, armed with numbers. Instead, we have one electrical engineer and two dealers in San Diego that are up in arms about this.
Yeah.
Because they've all bought other cars since then.
I don't know. I mean, I had a third gen Prius. It was a great car. I don't.
Well, you had one. Would this upset you?
I'm not that. No, honestly, 5 MPG. No.
Okay.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm not that guy. What'd you say?
It'd make me crazy.
Would it make you crazy?
Oh yeah.
Okay. No, I mean, 5 MPG. I mean, I'd probably be a little irritated, but no, I don't.
You would make it a rant item?
I might rant about it.
You damn well know you would.
I wouldn't sue Toyota. And I don't track my numbers that closely, my personal stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's never been, I'm not that guy. I do not have the Anthony P. Schaefer spreadsheet of every fill up and every trip to work. And God love him for that, because we need those people to, push things forward. I get that. I'm not criticizing him. I'm not that guy. You've seen the reviews. Come on. It gets 40 or 50, whatever. I don't say that, folks.
So I want all the Prius owners out there to email Russell your spreadsheets before and after the recall, so he can analyze that data for us.
And by analyze, Evan means throw in my trash. But you know what? That is an interesting point. I would love to hear from people on the Facebook page. somewhere. If you've noticed anything like this, and maybe you didn't say anything, and be honest, don't make shit up. If you noticed this before or didn't notice it, please post at facebook.com/whatdrivesus and tell us. I would be fascinated to know if this was a big underreported problem that I just didn't hear about. I feel like I've had my finger on the pulse of the Prius community for years now. So I'm part of the reason why this story was so fascinating to me is I was shocked that it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know, Capistrano Toyota and Claremont Toyota, please, whatever. I'm sorry, just to be clear, the dealers are also alleging that they are still that this fix did not adequately fix the inverter overheating problem, which would shut down the vehicle in operation, which resulted in no injuries or deaths. But they feel that that was still a problem as well. For the record, not just about mileage, also about safety. You know, it's almost a foregone conclusion that if you are a European car company and you make a diesel car, you're a liar. Mercedes-Benz is suddenly being probed, and I use that word intentionally, probed, by the EPA, which, you know, probably isn't going to be very painful for them given the state of our EPA right now. But that they installed misleading software in as many as 580,000 of vehicles. Same sort of thing as the VW defeat device. I got nothing except the only way to sell a diesel vehicle is to lie about it.
It's probably that same engineer from VW that did this.
Right. Well, you know, maybe not the same, but man, doesn't it make you think there's some collusion and some backroom shit going on there?
Yeah, or that they all talk and they knew there was a defeat device and they said we may as well get on board. VW's been doing it for years.
Yeah.
I mean, these companies reverse engineer everybody else's cars. Ain't nobody who doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, you got to know that company A knows everything about company B and vice versa. They know what chips are in there. They know what the software is because they've damn well downloaded the code and looked at every line and went, what the ding dang hell? You know, okay, maybe they didn't.
In their Texas accent in Europe.
I like the idea that there's one bad Texan engineer at Mercedes-Benz, you know, in Stuttgart.
What the damn hell is this?
What the ding dang live long? What? Who did this? You know, and the other guy's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Who is this? Who is this man?
You're obviously a bad apple. I don't, you know. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about that. There's no such thing as clean diesel. There's no such thing as clean coal. Kids, close your ears for a second. The tooth fairy isn't real either. My last story for tonight is what I would probably call the police beat story. Just today, apparently, in Santa Barbara, a man wielding a hatchet attacked a Tesla in downtown Santa Barbara. This guy, who looks completely fine, absolutely, just this gentleman here apparently went up to a Tesla with a hatchet and screamed, "I hate Tesla," and apparently made some threatening motions with the hatchet. There seems to be some witness disagreement of whether or not he actually vandalized the car. All the witnesses said he did. There was no damage to the vehicle. So the police took him in anyway, because, you know, if you run up to a car and start screaming shit with a hatchet, you probably need to be in handcuffs.
You think?
Was that guy driving a press Hyundai video cameras before this incident? Wow.
Yeah. So Tesla drivers in Santa Barbara can sleep soundly knowing that the hatchet wielding man is behind bars tonight.
Turns out he's either a little crazy or under the influence of meth or both, Hill said.
Quote unquote. I don't make this stuff up, folks. I just read it in the news.
and the Tesla Hater Club leader is behind bars.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about like, this guy's not short in stock. I mean, he's taking it personally one at a time. Okay.
Yeah. He's hunting them down one at a time. Yeah.
Screw trying to short the stock.
I know your VIN number and I'm going to get you.
Some dude runs at my car with a hatchet. I'm the hell out of there. Okay. I just, maybe I'm afraid of hatchets. I don't know.
Maybe. Yes.
Maybe. That's all I got this week. Mark, are you holding back any surprises?
I got one picture, which is kind of cool that I thought I'd share with the class.
Oh, thank you.
Starman was spotted on the street. Now, what's cool about this photo is that this is a chalk drawing in 2D. That when you look at it from a certain angle, it appears 3D and it appears it's taking up actual physical space. But this is a flat drawing on asphalt. Nice. So Chalk guys put this together and published this photo earlier in the week, and I just thought I'd share it. I thought it was pretty cool looking. If you're at the right angle, it looks 3D. That's totally awesome. Except I got to tell you, those wheels suck. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with the wheels. It's a bit wonky with the center part of the wheel. Yeah. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Other than that, yeah. It's amazing what shading can do, isn't it? Yep. So that's what I have. That's what you have. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, sir. Let's do some shout outs and go home. I think we've worked hard for almost 45 minutes now, and that's a good deal. Evan, I know you have a referral code. I have a referral code. So, and the only reason I'm sharing it, I got asked on the Tesla Life show. So, and it is the last day to be entered in the chance to drive actually not just drive, but race the Tesla Semi on their test track out in Fremont. So all you have to do is go to my referral code and sign up for the newsletter. They hardly ever send them out anyway, like once every month or two. So they don't harass you too much in the email. And then we're both entered for the chance. And if you want to buy a Tesla while you're there, well, that's cool too. But my referral code is pretty easy. It's ts.la/Evan4452. So ts.la/Evan4452. Anyway, thanks for your consideration. Come on, hook a brother up. Use Evan's referral code. At least sign up for the newsletter, okay? Please. Thank you. Mr. Coughlin. Just wanted to thank everyone in the chat room that's joined us this evening. Thank you very much for the well-spirited conversation in there. And asked you that if you could please drop by our YouTube channel, press the subscribe button, the like button, help us out, connect us, give us a little more viewing audience. Send the link out to a friend or two. Whatever you can do, it would be really appreciated. You can also find us on all the other social media sites with the exact same name, What Drives Us. So on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. So you can find us all at the same name. Just What Drives Us. It's simple. Yeah. YouTube.com/What Drives Us. Please, please, please go there. Subscribe, share it with a friend, put it on your Facebook, your Twitter feed. We need your help. We need your help. That's what we need. Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for that. I want to pass along my thanks to everybody in the chat room. Do we get a show title? Did anybody say anything? No one said anything about a show title. You're hurting me. I thought they did earlier. Did I need a show title. Come on, chat room. Throw us a show title. The only thing I also want to plug right now while we're thinking about it is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time, allegedly, there will be a live Jaguar event where they will be rolling out the new EV I-Pace SUV. And there's a rumor that What Drives Us is going to have live coverage of that while the event happens. If you're a subscriber, you'll be notified when we go live. And if not, you won't be notified and you won't have to do anything. See? The membership has its advantages. And yes, I stole that line from another very large company that will probably sue my ass off. So tomorrow, 10 a.m.,
Pacific. That's 1 a.m. Eastern for those of you that can't do math. And
1 p.m., isn't it?
1 p.m. Did I say 1 a.m.?
You say a.m., yeah.
A.m. Well, see, I was an art major. My thanks, of course, to Evan and to Mark for being here and spending their evening with me. I apologize for that, gentlemen. And of course, thanks to everybody in the chat room. But most of all, thanks to you, all of you, for being here and putting up with this me thing pointing in the camera thing. Tune in next week and find out what drives us. Drives us. Where's the Evan echo? Echo. We need the Evan echo. We'll see you next week. Maybe. Check the Facebook page for more. Good night, one and all. Cool Corvette. Where's the echo?